Welcome to week 10 of Wild Wednesday. Today we are going to be learning a little bit more about sin and if Jesus was ever tempted by sin. And then later on we'll be doing a fun art project showing us exactly how Jesus can take our sin away. So make sure that you have a container or a pan of water and your washable and permanent markers.
Dear God, I'm thankful for everything that you gave us, Lord. I'm thankful for all the lands and property you give us. I'm thankful for my toys. I'm thankful for my house. I'm thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for everything. Thank you, God. Mwah!
That was our wonderful prayer. Now we're going to get into our music video, so get on up, clear out some floors, bring in your friends and family. Let's do this.
I'm reading my Bible, and this is what it says to me. It tells me that I'm never ever alone. I'm learning how Jesus came down to us and gave his best. Without a doubt, the best friend you'll ever know. Our God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. Oh, oh. I'm reading my Bible, and this is what it says to me. It tells me that I'm never ever alone. I'm learning how Jesus came down to us and gave his best. Without a doubt, the best friend you'll ever know. Our God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. Oh, whoa. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. You opened up the door. You opened up the door. Oh,
That was a wonderful song, guys. Are you ready for our godly game show? Here we go. Hi, all my friends out there, and welcome to Wild Wednesday. We're here to have fun once again, and here's our godly game show contestants. We have Mr. Martin, and we have somebody new today. We have Mr. Will. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Will.
My pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. So today we already learned about that Jesus never did sin, but today we're going to learn about if Jesus was ever tempted to sin. So, my first question is, what is temptation? Yes?
When you want to do something and you know it's wrong.
Very good, Mr. Will. Look at that, he got it right. Yeah, he was just a little quicker. He was just a little quicker on the buzzer, that's all. So, temptation is doing something or wanting to do something that you know is wrong. Now, sometimes we give in to our temptation and we do things that we know that we shouldn't. But we can ask God to give us strength and He'll help us work through those temptations, okay? So, what are some temptations that you might face that maybe your mom and dad have rules about and you think that you're gonna maybe try it anyway? Yes, Mr. Martin.
Taking an extra cookie when I shouldn't.
Taking an extra cookie when you shouldn't.
I
Good
love that
answer,
one.
good answer. Yeah, how about
Everyday struggle.
everyday struggle? It sure is, Mr. Well. Can you think of something else, Mr. Well?
Yeah. Coconut flakes.
Coconut flakes.
My mom stocks up on them. She cooks with them. I take them and I eat them. I know it's wrong.
Oh, so now then she runs out and then she doesn't have them to bake.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. You know what one of my biggest temptations is? Eating candy for breakfast.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Eating candy for breakfast, although on Christmas and Easter, Wesleyan and I are allowed to eat candy for breakfast. What about you tempted to take toys away from your friends or your brothers and sisters, my little ones out there? That's another temptation.
I've never done that.
That's, I think Mr. Martin's fibbing. I think at one time when we were little, we all took toys away from our brothers and sisters or our friends, okay? But, so we're going to talk about how Jesus was tempted. Do you know how Jesus was tempted and who tempted him?
The devil.
The devil. Satan himself tempted Jesus. Some of the things that he told Jesus to do was, Jesus was in the desert and he told Jesus to turn the stones into bread. What do you think Jesus said to the devil?
No.
No, he said, no, I'm not going to do that. He also told him to throw yourself off the temple and let God's angels catch you so that you don't die. Do you think he was going to tempt God? And no, he was not going to do that, was he?
That seems dangerous.
And then Satan told him, bow to me and I will give you everything in the world. Do we bow to Satan?
Never.
Oh,
No. Who's the only one we should bow to?
The Lord.
The Lord. That's right, Mr. Will. So each time, though, that Satan tempted Jesus, Jesus replied, God alone do we worship. God alone is the Almighty. So Jesus never did fall into temptation, so he didn't sin, and we did learn that. So, but temptation is awfully powerful at times. You really have to try very hard to not fall into it and do something that's wrong. But it's such a pesky part of everybody's life. Even Jesus, being human, was tempted. But we've learned that he never did sin. He faced the same strong tugs to do things that were wrong, just like we do, but the difference is, Jesus never did. And that's great news. You can be sure Jesus understands what it is to struggle with temptation, because he did it too. But he set a wonderful example for us by staying obedient to God his Father and asking God for help every day. So Jesus understands our weaknesses, for he faced all of the same temptations we do, yet he did not sin. So let us come boldly to the throne of our gracious God. There we will receive his mercy, and we will find grace to help us when we need it. And you'll find that in the Bible in Hebrews chapter 4, verses 15 and 16. So thanks for joining us, Mr. Will. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Martin. We had so much fun. We hope you did too. See you next week. Bye.
Hey, Wild Wednesday kids, what's happening? Pastor Doug here. The Bible verse is Psalm 63:3. Because your kindness is better than life, my lips will praise you.
Get out your supplies, everyone. We're going into art. It's going to be so much fun. Make sure you have everything ready and a spot cleared out. Don't get your house too messy or your mom won't like you to do art no more.
Hello, boys and girls. Mr. Bob and I are here this week to show you a really neat project that we have been working on. The last couple of weeks, we've been talking a little bit about sin. And our art project from last week talked about how Jesus can cover our sin. We're going to talk a little on the same subject, but it's going to be different. We sometimes hide our sin, don't we, Mr. Bob?
Yes, we do.
We don't always like people or God to know that we've sinned. He knows, but we still kind of try to hide the sin.
Put on a good face.
Put on a good face. Well, today we're going to show you this really cute project that shows us that when we give ourselves to God and we give our heart to God, that He can wash away the sin that's in our heart. The sin that's in our heart are the evil things or the bad things, the nasty things we are tempted to do, right?
Right.
So Mr. Bob here is going to draw on a paper, and in your packet, once again, this is week 10, lesson 10, you have a paper towel and 2 markers. You're going to take the marker that is the permanent marker. Now, I don't know what color you have, but it's the bigger marker. You take that permanent marker and you're going to draw a heart on there, just like Mr. Bob showed you. That will go on the outside. And then you're going to open up your tissue. So let me show you real quick here when Mr. Bob gets his heart done again, so you kind of understand what we're doing. So you take your paper towel, and on the paper towel, you, with your permanent marker, you draw a heart. Now,
I'm not an artist.
the inside is where we're going to see our sin. And Mr. Bob is going to draw some of that yucky sin we talked about
There's our
last
sin.
week. There's your sin. So you take your little marker and you color in some sin. Look at yucky sin again, right? Now, we pray. We ask God for
For
forgiveness.
forgiveness.
So we take our paper and you're going to put it in a little pan of water. I should have probably told you that at the beginning. We said in our thing that you had to have a pan of water ready. And so you take that pan of water, you put that drawing, that paper towel in there, and you let it sit there a minute while God is working on your heart. While you're praying to Him, saying, Lord, forgive me for the things that I do wrong. Help me to be a better person. Take that sin away from me and replace it, God, with your love. Help me, God, to show your love. And God will hear your prayer, and He will take that sin right out and wash your heart clean. I hope we didn't go too fast on this project for you. You guys can pause your camera if you didn't have your water ready or something quite ready. But draw on your heart, scribble in your sin there, and watch Him as He washes away. Hope you enjoyed this little minute project, and we will see you again next week. Bye, Mr. Bob.
Bye-bye, Sue. God bless you.
I'm so glad you enjoyed our whole video, and now we're going to go to our conclusion with Miss Christina.
And that was a wrap on week 10 of Wild Wednesday. Today in our Godly Game Show, we learned that Jesus was tempted by sin all of the time, but he never fell into the devil's temptation. Miss Tuja taught us that temptation is wanting or doing something bad. But we also learned that by asking God and asking Jesus for forgiveness, he can take all of our sin away. Mr. Bob and Miss Sue showed us exactly how Jesus does that for us in our very fun art project today. We watched the water take all of that yucky sin right out of Mr. Bob's beautifully drawn heart. We hope you guys enjoyed this week of Wild Wednesday.
Thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope you enjoyed our video. We worked so hard to put out for you guys, and make sure you join us next week.